Welcome to Telling Our Stories. My name is Josh Johnson with Regency on the Lake. I relocated to Davidson, North Carolina, the Lake Norman area, in October of 2024. We started telling our stories so you, our viewers and listeners, can connect with our clients in the communities that we are a part of, from Western North Carolina to the Charlotte area. Welcome to the show, and we hope you enjoy this episode. I'm Josh Johnson with Telling Our Stories, and today I have Chris Baucom and Brielle Barozzini with 100 Strong Productions with me today, and we connected through a mutual friend, Shannon Parker, and you guys did a documentary up in Western North Carolina, and that is where my roots home is at, right there in West Jefferson, and that documentary was on Helene, Hurricane Helene. And we'll just kind of kick it off a little bit about you guys. We'll hit on that little documentary you did there. I know it released yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
Yep. Okay. And I've watched that. It is very touching, moving, and brings up a lot of emotions for me personally, obviously, because I was there, lived it, and experienced it. And I know that you guys have a lot of things coming up in the future, too. But whoever wants to start and tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and 100 Strong Productions, let's kick it off like that and then go from there.
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm Chris Baucom. I'm the director of 100 Strong Productions. Probably, 5 years ago, we started this production company. The whole idea behind it being that we're telling some untold stories about counties in North Carolina. We've done some documentaries related to food insecurity. We've done one on veterans transitioning back into society after they've served. And you obviously referenced the Helene documentary. And we're working on a new project right now. So we've got a few documentaries under our belt, but we travel all over the state telling stories, exactly what your podcast is all about, it sounds like.
Yep. So. And you all focus purely on North Carolina.
Yes.
Which I believe is the best state in the United States of America. Partial because I was born and raised here, but
there's 100 counties in North Carolina. That's where the name comes from, too. 100 Strong Productions.
Yep, and I have traveled the world, literally. I mean, I've been in 30-some countries and, lived in various places in the country itself, and there's no place like North Carolina, in my opinion. And the new documentary that you mentioned that you're doing kind of touches on something that we're experiencing in North Carolina, which is growth.
Yes.
And, I think everybody has discovered us for sure. I say that
the
all
word
the
is
time.
out.
The word is out on how good our state is.
Yes.
But, Brielle, not to chase rabbits here, but I'm bad to do that. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved and what you do too.
Yeah, so I'm the production coordinator at 100 Strong Productions, and I've been part of the team for about 3.5 years. So it's been an awesome experience getting to travel around and see so much of North Carolina that I probably wouldn't have gotten to see otherwise, and just learning so much through the documentaries that we do. So I've always had an interest and passion in nonfiction and documentary filmmaking. So this has been such a wonderful opportunity to be able to tell these uplifting stories and to be able to raise awareness about these important topics that we tell stories about.
Yeah. So let's talk about Helene in that documentary since it just released. And I have not really heard your all's perspective on that, and I would like to hear that. I'm sure our viewers would as well. I may chime in and say, hey, here's what happened to me and my family and neighbors, but what do you think about that, and what did you learn?
So I will say, our organization that we're a part of is called the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, and because of that, county commissioners, elected officials across the state, are connected to what we do. And right after Helene, we saw several of the commissioners from the western part of North Carolina. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks after the storm. A lot of them, it was the first time they had left the area after the storm. And, we just had some conversations, and it was like, man, what are they going through up there? What is this? It's completely changed the face of the area that they know and love. It's completely turned everybody's lives, on its head. We have to do something about this. We have to try to help tell this story and share this story. And so immediately we got a plan together. We packed some stuff up. We drove up. We featured several counties in Western North Carolina. I think about 25 of the counties were impacted.
Mm-hmm.
We only feature 6 in our documentary, just because, somewhat limiting. You couldn't get everywhere, especially right after
Correct.
the storm, and you can't tell every single story. But one of the first places we went was Ashe County, which I know is where you're from, and just seeing it in person. I mean, I can look back at the video that we have in the film, and it's impactful, but seeing it in person was totally different. It's like nothing I had ever seen before. I lived at the coast. I worked at the coast for a long time, been through a lot of hurricanes. This was different. And, a lot of people describing water rushing, boulders rolling down rivers. They could hear them. They could see trees, houses going by, and rivers that were creeks before turning into huge mudslides. And I mean, seeing the aftermath of all that was very impactful, and it made us even more determined to do a good job of trying to get this story out to as many people as we could, because we knew then what a lot of people maybe didn't know, that it was going to be years. And I mean, it's been a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and there is still a long way to go even now.
Oh yeah. Brielle, what did you learn, experience from that, and what did you kind of grasp from it?
Yeah, it was the first time that I made the trip out for this documentary was in November, and it was really hard. Every trip we made out there was really hard. And the way that we went about telling the story is like, there were so many people going with cameras to these areas, and we didn't want to feel like those people, because we were trying to tell like the story of what these local government officials were doing, and the impact that they were having in their communities. But that was challenging at times, because we didn't want to feel like we were just coming into a community like so many other people were with big cameras at a time that was really devastating for these people and these communities. So we just wanted to approach it in a way that felt like just walking in and seeing how they were, and just having like really genuine, open conversations, and making sure everybody felt safe that we were with, because I mean, it was devastating seeing it, and I can't even imagine living through it.
Oh yeah. Well, for me personally, my family and I, and the thing that I think is so strange about Helene is, we had, reports, weather reports, that this storm was coming. I mean, obviously we had Hurricane Hugo, which happened in the 90s, and we all kind of thought, well, it's going to be like Hugo maybe. And Hugo was bad, don't get me wrong, but like Hugo compared to Helene, there really isn't any comparison. And I mean, I've got videos on my cell phone, and it's kind of like you said. I mean, I watched the videos, and it's still, it was so much worse than what you see that you recorded. I mean, my family and I, we didn't have power for about 3 weeks. We didn't have cell service for about 4 days. We couldn't leave our home personally for about 3 days. And we were fortunate. I mean, honestly, because a lot of the folks, neighbors and friends that I had up there, they didn't get out for a month. I mean, no power for a month. And, it was, words cannot describe that situation. But one thing that did really stick out to me, like once the storm was over, is how the whole community kind of pulled together. And I'll even go further to say the whole state and even other states came to assist and help out with the devastation, because it was crazy. I watching your documentary, like I had to watch it like in segments kind of, because it was like, okay, this is, PTSD may be a little strong, but some of those emotions coming back and just overwhelming. And as you mentioned, I think it's important to note, the high country is recovering. We are open for business, but we are a long ways from back to where we were before Helene hit. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, the best way you can help is to visit. If you visit, Western North Carolina is very similar to the town I live in now, Davidson, North Carolina. As so many towns in North Carolina actually are like this, where the town survives off of local businesses and the community that's there. And obviously, for the high country, that region is more of a, I'm going to say, second home vacation type destination. And when people don't travel, obviously, the economy suffers and the families that are local suffer. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you want to help? Visit. I mean, we are open. The mountains are what they have always been. The climate is great, especially during the summer. And if you like to ski, it's good in the winter as well. But, you know, that is, in my opinion, the best way now that people can help get that region back to where it needs to be.
Absolutely.
I agree. I think that's one of the things we wanted to make sure we got across in the documentary, both that it is a long-term recovery. It is going to be years before everything is back to the way it was. And some things may never be back to the way they were. But also that there were places that were open 6 months after the storm. You know, I know in Lansing, the general store opened up before Christmas, I believe. And actually, I think they opened up maybe like a Halloween. It was really quickly, and that store was completely flooded out. So there are lots of places that worked really hard to get open as quickly as they could, and those places, like you say, are dependent on people coming to visit, and it's still a very beautiful place to visit. And in a lot of places you go, you'd never know.
That's the truth.
So still a wonderful place to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is home, roots home to me, and always will be. I mean, born and raised right there in Ashe County.
Yeah.
The people, again, I say this all the time, a house is not a home without the people that live in it, and communities are not communities without the people that are a part of them. And, I mean, the people, not only in Western North Carolina, but across the state, are some of the most resilient people and genuine, authentic, like real. I mean, I watched a podcast the other day, and a guy said, you know, he thinks Charlotte is known for its hospitality, and it's the city of hospitality. And honestly, like the whole state of North Carolina, I feel is very hospitable. And I think it's more than that, just Southern hospitality. I mean, you always feel welcome, no matter what part of the state you're in. And the people, you know, the native North Carolinians, they stick together. So, but anyhow, moving on from Helene and Western North Carolina, you mentioned some other projects you had done, and the one that you're currently working on, which is close here to Mecklenburg County, not too far down the road. Right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what you're touching on there?
Well, if I can say one thing before we move on completely from Helene, go to risingabovehelene.com. And you can view the film there. We would love for all of your viewers, listeners, to go check that out.
risingabovehelene.com.
Yes.
It like you said, it came out on Tuesday. It's out there free to stream, so we would love to hear from you if you get a chance to watch the film. So,
definitely.
The new project we're working on, we're really excited about, and it is about growth, but it's mostly about change, because not every place is growing in the same way. But every place is changing. Costs are going up. People are moving to our area. What kinds of impacts do those things have on everybody and on services that have to be provided? We're in Union County today. We've been over there all day in the city of Monroe and in some surrounding areas and some farmland out east of Monroe. And I know that that's a fast-growing area. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to feature them. But we're talking with several folks from there about how are they responding and how are they managing that in a way that keeps the character of the county, but allows for people to come in and become a part of the area, of the community. So far it's been really interesting. We've been to both ends of the state so far. And I'll let Brielle tell you a little bit about some of the other places we've been.
All right.
Yeah, we were in Currituck County or Currituck.
Currituck.
We learned
You gotta say
that
it.
that's how it's
Currituck.
pronounced. Yeah,
Yep.
Currituck County last week. So we were in the Outer Banks,
Mm-hmm.
and we were also in Dare County, and then we were in Allegheny and Caldwell. So then we were in the mountains 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we were also in Brunswick County earlier this month. So near like Southport area, another coastal area in the state. So we've been to the beach, the mountains, and kind of all over the place. But it's been really cool to see, like you were talking about earlier, just like the community aspect in this state
Mm-hmm.
and just how beautiful the landscapes are. It's been so wonderful to be able to travel around and highlight all these communities.
Oh yeah. And the county commissioners, I have to give Todd McNeil a shout
Yes.
out
Yes.
from Ashe County. I mean, are they all as friendly and as country as Todd McNeil?
They are not all as country as Todd McNeil.
Okay.
No, but they are mostly that friendly.
Okay.
They're a very friendly group.
Yeah.
And they're very good to us.
Very welcoming.
Yeah, every place we've been, they're excited for us to be there and excited for their area to get a little bit of a spotlight for a statewide audience, and we're very happy that we can provide that for them.
All right. So Todd, you heard that from Chris. And you won the most country county commissioner in North Carolina.
I don't know if he's the most country.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know
All
about
right.
that, but
All right.
he's on that end of the spectrum for sure.
All right. So
He's great.
there's nothing wrong with being country.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
I am from the country.
Oh
so,
yeah. And the thing that amazes me when I moved from Western North Carolina to Davidson, right, a suburb of Charlotte, just north of Charlotte, I kind of felt like country boy moving to the city, right?
Yeah.
Which I'd lived in other cities growing up and stuff during college and whatnot, but honestly, like if you find native Charlotteans, they are as country as the Todd McNeils of the world from Western North Carolina, and probably kind of like some of the folks you met with in Union County, farmers, in North Carolina. Like, do y'all know what our number one agricultural product is in the state?
In the state?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet potatoes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I was gonna go-
Sweet
Yes.
potatoes.
Yeah.
And I mean, Christmas trees in the high country.
Yeah.
And for a long time, we had a lot of tobacco.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've got, and, you get back to that community and who North Carolina is and who we are as a state. I mean, that farming aspect runs deep, I think.
Mhm.
And, there's not many like city folks that farm.
Not many.
Yeah. So, but it is, it's amazed me because it really hasn't been as much moving from the country to the city as I thought it was going to be, for sure.
That's
But,
cool.
Yeah, I grew up not far from Charlotte. Honestly, I grew up in Catawba County,
Mhm.
so only maybe like 45-minute drive north
Mhm.
of here. So I'm very used to this area and the people of this area. But you're right. There's a difference between Davidson
Oh, yeah.
and West Jefferson,
Oh, yeah.
for instance.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. But I think that there is something that all folks from North Carolina have in common. And you're right that, going back to the Helene doc and how people responded to that and how people drew together and like really worked together. And I think even with the growth that we're experiencing, the people who are coming in are, I don't want to say assimilating to that, but they're getting used to that kind of way of doing things.
Mhm.
And I think that's a very important step in the process, is to keep that thing that makes North Carolina so special.
The fabric.
Yep.
The fabric of the quilt is what I refer to it as. I mean, what makes us who we are. And as I mentioned to you, and I've said this, a number of times as well, Davidson, in my opinion,
Mhm.
has done very well with the growth that they've had up to this point and the future growth that's coming.
Mhm.
And they've been very intentional about it.
Yeah.
And I think that is what is necessary as we grow as a state, is intentionality and keeping that fabric,
Mhm.
to where, our towns still feel like the whole reason people moved here to begin with.
Yeah.
And, that's harder than it sounds, right? But it is a process, but it can be done. I think Davidson is living proof of that.
Mhm.
And it's little things. From one thing, I just did a podcast on the farmers market there.
Oh, nice.
Little things that bring the community together that make it special and make it thrive in all reality. But tell me something else. I mean, y'all have traveled the state more here
Yeah.
recently than I have.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about the coast because that's another part of the state that everybody loves.
Yes.
You know,
It's incredible. I actually worked for Dare County for about 7 years before I came to the association, and just the way it's grown and the influx of people that they have there every year. So one of the most fascinating things to me is a place. So let's take Dare County for instance. Normally, I think 35,000 people live there all year round.
mm-hmm.
Some weeks in the summer, they can have 300,000 people there. And the same thing for Currituck County. I think they're probably like 35,000 people, but hundreds of thousands of people come there in the summer. So think of a place that can go from small, sleepy town in the wintertime where you can probably drive for a few miles and not see headlights to boom. I mean, just hundreds of thousands of people in a small space.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible place to me, but they do it and do it well out there. And I think being there this past week, we really got an appreciation for how much they ramp up to do that and how much they prepare for that.
Mm-hmm.
And really how good a job they do. Well, we talked to a director of EMS out there about how his paramedics have to operate. And if you think about Currituck County, it's kind of like a mainland area, and then it's got the barrier island area, and they aren't connected. You got to go all the way down into Dare County and go back up to get to the barrier island part, or they have another island that you can take a ferry to. So think about an island that's separated that way, and then a hospital that's all the way up in Virginia. So I think if they have a really bad event, they take them up to Chesapeake or Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that his paramedics can be in an ambulance with somebody for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, taking them that far. But they do it. They have a great response there. Everybody can feel safe being there. And it's because they have people who are trained well and know how to do their job, and they know, what it takes to get somebody from all the way up here on this barrier island to all the way back around to a city, to the hospital, and do it well. And I think that's really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Yeah, I love the North Carolina beaches. I went to school in Wilmington, so I've been really happy to be back at the coast this month with work. And we also went to Brunswick County, which I believe it's the 6th fastest growing county in the nation. So I mean, they've got so many beautiful beach towns there, so they're just trying to balance out handling all this growth that they're having and how many people are moving there because it is such a beautiful place, but how to keep that charm and their culture still there. So that was really fascinating to learn about too.
All right.
We get to test out a lot of the restaurants too. There's some great
What's your
restaurants.
favorite?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know if I can. But what was the first lunch place we went to? Do you remember?
Oh gosh.
It was a place right on the Intercoastal Waterway.
Yes.
And they had great seafood, but I can't.
In Wrightsville?
No, this was in
Southport.
It was in Southport.
Okay.
Yeah, fishy. It's really good.
Yeah,
that was one
was
of the
good.
ones we went to.
Oh,
That
that
wasn't. Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit a hot one here.
Okay.
You deal with all these county commissioners. Obviously, I believe that everybody's experiencing the same thing with the growth in North Carolina. Being with the county commissioners, what is the feel that you get from them on not only the growth, but housing in North Carolina?
Everywhere we go, and especially related to the documentary we're working on right now, when we talk to them about issues they're facing, affordable housing is on everybody's list. And it's a real thing. You talk about the coast, they're out there looking at how do we have housing for our workforce? When housing prices have skyrocketed, how do we make sure our workforce can not have to drive an hour, inland to have a place to live? And then even in places like Allegheny County, which hasn't really grown a lot yet, I think their chairman told us they haven't had an apartment complex built there since 1990, maybe. And so you think about that long of, high density housing that's going to be less expensive. I'm sure they have a problem with workforce housing, even with it not being a rapid growth county yet, which I think they're planning for Ashe County's growth to start spilling over into Allegheny County. So I think they're preparing for that, which is smart. But the issue's a little bit different everywhere. Affordable housing, I think, means something different depending on where you are and who you're talking to about it. but I think that everyone would say keeping housing affordable is on their radar and something that they have to deal with. And I'll let you talk more about that, but that is for sure something we hear a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been hearing some innovative ideas. Tiny home communities is something that we've been hearing a lot about on our travels, just wanting to create more communities for people as well. So they can live in an affordable area, but they still have the community there as well. So to have like kind of a little neighborhood of these tiny homes and what that could look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I always, being in my profession, which is real estate, I unfortunately get blamed, and I'm not sure how it's my fault, but get blamed for
It's your fault. It's your fault. Come on.
But get blamed sometimes for growth.
Right.
And, if I could control that, I wouldn't be doing it today, right? I mean, if I would have known North Carolina was going to be discovered the way it is, I would have, retired a long time ago, not from selling it, but I would have bought a lot of stuff, tried to anyway myself, and, just retired off of that. And that's the part that is very hard for me, because the folks that have discovered us, what I experience from them is that North Carolina is extremely cheap. I mean, folks from California. I mean, I spoke to a guy earlier in the year. He's like, I sold one home in California. I can have 3 homes in North Carolina, one in the mountains, one on the lake, and one at the beach for the same price as the home I sold in California. And my taxes are less on all 3 homes combined than it was on the one home in California.
I think that's an interesting point that you make too, about home values being lower, but also taxes being lower. And that's one of the reasons that people move here. And I think I don't know, exactly the course the story is going to take in the documentary we're working on right now, but that is one thing that we've heard a lot too, is that when people move here, a lot of times they want the lower taxes, but they expect the services that they got when they paid the higher taxes. And that those two things don't always necessarily work out. A lot of commissioners are like, that's great, but if you want all of these extra services, then you're going to have to pay more in taxes than you pay now. So that's a discussion that I think is going around a lot, and especially with people moving here from, say, California, where values were way higher and taxes were way higher, but services were very different, and what services were offered were very different. So it's an interesting thing. But I think the most interesting thing is there are some innovative ideas out there, but one thing we hear from elected officials a lot also is we can't necessarily just tell people what they can do with their own private property. So we're not the gatekeepers on growth, just from the perspective of, we can't say, if you've done everything that you're supposed to do and you're following the building code and you're following the development procedures in our area, we're going to approve what you're asking us to approve, because that's your private property. We're not going to say you can't do that. But people come to county commissioners and say, you need to stop growth. Do they really have the ability to do that? I think it depends on the local ordinances. If they have a unified development ordinance, it depends on a lot of things. And I mean, one of the things we say a lot is that if you've been to one county, you've been to one county. It's different in every county. But I think there's probably a lot of folks who maybe have a misunderstanding about what county commissioners can and can't do related to growth. And I think that's something that we're going to want to touch on in the piece we're working on now.
Yeah. And realtors, I'll be honest, we have no control on growth.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll just make that clear. I, as a real estate professional, I do not determine where people want to live or why they want to come here. I just provide a service when they do come. And
you're not going out and bringing people
no,
here.
I mean, I do, do marketing, but I am not like, saying, I do say North Carolina is the best state in the United States of America. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, and I don't think it's bad for us to have new people move.
Exactly.
I think it is just, we have to be intentional, as I mentioned before, in the way we grow. And from what I've seen in most of the areas that I service, and from what I know about North Carolina and the folks that make it special, we're going to do that, and we're going to do it well. So intentional growth is what we need. I mean, growth is coming one way or the other.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of positives to growth, but with any kind of growth, there are growing pains. I mean, there are going to be growing pains. There's no way to completely avoid that. You can plan You can develop in advance. But to points that we've heard again in interviews that we've done for this documentary, you don't always know where growth is going to happen. You can't always predict. You can't know that I'm going to put this road in the perfect place before anybody develops there.
Mm-hmm.
Government, in a lot of ways, has to be reactive. It can't be proactive because you don't have the answers before the growth actually happens. So, the growing pains are what happens, and people get upset when that happens. But there are a lot of positives to growth too.
Yep. I mean, one of the local topics here recently has been the I-77 project. And, obviously 77, let's be honest, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
And it's flooded with traffic every day. And, that kind of all that expansion just kind of got nixed, which, could kick it down the road 20 years.
Right.
I mean, so I mean, and you understand both sides of that. I mean, that is, I don't have the answers, but I'm glad that we do have people in government that I feel are working for the local community and to facilitate the growth that is coming. And you have to believe in the system to some degree as well. And hopefully, that all gets resolved. We figure out something there. But all right, loaded question here. And then we'll kind of wrap this thing up. Okay. But what's your favorite thing about North Carolina?
I want to say like the people and the landscape. So that's two. But but like you said, just the community feeling. Like I love how welcoming people are, even if it's a small town that I'm visiting for the first time. People are so welcoming, and that's something like I grew up north, and that's just a little different down here, and I just really appreciate just the generosity of people. And the landscapes are also just unreal. Like, how can we go from the most beautiful beaches to beautiful mountains? Like, it's just unreal that this is all in one state. So I'd say those are my two favorite things.
Chris has been pondering.
Yeah, I mean, those would be great. Those would be fantastic things. I think there is still a feeling to North Carolina that's different than other places. And I think the fact that, what are we, the 11th or 12th largest state in the country now, that people have moved in from all over the place, but that in a lot of ways that culture still exists and still thrives. Neighborly, helping each other out. I mean, I still drive plenty of places where people still wave at me when they pass you on the road. That's probably not true in downtown Charlotte, or they might wave at you in a different way. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I live close to Raleigh, and that's a great, pretty good sized city too. Great city, but pretty good sized city too. And it's different in some pockets, but for the most part, I think the place that North Carolina is, and in some ways, I guess that is the people. But the place that North Carolina is, and the culture that it has of just people being a part of a community. And I think to be as big as we are and still have that is pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, you all know this. I'm a fan of home. North Carolina is home, and I love it.
What's your favorite thing?
I would say the people.
Yeah.
I mean, the people for me are what make us special. I mean, from the mountains to the coast to right here in the city of Charlotte, even Raleigh. I mean, and you have different little personalities in each place that you go, as I'll say, or character, culture, whatever the word may be that you want to use, but each is unique, but there's still that same underlying fabric, like kind of what I referred to as that country nature, previously. But, I mean, the people are special. It is, like you said, though, too. I mean, the landscapes are amazing. I mean, we're sitting here in Charlotte today, 2 hours, we can be at Grandfather Mountain. 2.5, 3 hours, we can be at the coast. I mean, you can do day trips to both. I mean, and you got the lake here, several lakes here. I mean, within 30 minutes of us. So, I mean, it's just, where else can you go and have that?
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in Oklahoma. I mean, no mountains. Had to go to Arkansas to get what they referred to as mountains. lake, I'm trying to think, Branson, Missouri. I think I went to a lake there
Yeah.
when I was there. But I mean, I'm just thinking back, this was college years. So, and I'm showing my age, but I'm 46. But I mean, that's what, 21, 22 years ago, but longer than that, 46, 21, 25 years ago. Yeah, when I graduated. But yeah, the people make North Carolina special.
Yeah.
And again, Chris Baucom, Brielle,
Barozzini.
Yes. I always like that last part. I'm like, okay, am I going to get the last part right? Barozzini. And with 100 Strong Productions. And I appreciate y'all coming in. And again, we touched on that documentary you just released on Helene.
Rising Above Helene.
RisingAboveHelene.com.
Yep.
And you've got 3 or 4 others out already.
We've got 3 or 4. We actually have 3 before Rising Above Helene, and then number 5 will be coming out later this year. So you can visit 100strongproductions.com to keep track on everything we do.
All right. And well, I appreciate y'all coming in today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and
this has been great.
Talking about North Carolina, and obviously the documentary, you touched on my home county in that one, and that was impactful and meant a lot to me, and I think it meant a lot to the folks of Ashe County. And there's still people in Ashe County who have not seen that. So y'all need to look at it. Yeah. Take a look, take a watch, take a listen, share it, send it out. And again, visit Western North Carolina. Yes. I think that is absolutely key. And they're open. The people are still the same. I mean, the landscapes have changed a little bit, but businesses are open and we're thriving as a community there. And if you've never been to the state of North Carolina, you're missing out. You need to come visit. I mean, I don't care where you go. I mean, it's worth your time. If you don't have a summer vacation plan one to North Carolina.
Yes.
So anyhow, thank you all again. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Telling Our Stories. And yeah, got to hear a little bit about the whole state today, which was cool.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Yep. If you liked it, share it, like, subscribe, all those good things, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining this episode of Telling Our Stories. We hope you enjoyed today's show and episode. Please feel free to share with somebody that you think may enjoy it. Also, like, subscribe, and share away. We've got more episodes coming in the future. Thanks again for joining us today.